Well, I'm back in Glencoe, looking to get to the top of a mountain that eluded me just a week ago. Well, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I'm back in Glencoe, and if you watched my video from last week, you'll know that my intention was not only to come up here for a summit camp, but also to get to the top of a mountain that sits just at the back of Glencoe Village. It's not a Munro, but it's a mountain that I've passed many a time, and today we're going to get to the top and let you see the views of the Pap of Glencoe. This time last week, well, it was Friday, I drove up through here and you couldn't even see this part of the Pap of Glencoe, and I've only risen about maybe 50 metres. The cloud was right down to the ground and I was seeing absolutely nothing. As you can see today, we're seeing right up into the head of Glencoe and down to the mountains behind. Now this one today is a relatively small one at 742 metres, but yeah, it's going to give us fabulous views. I know this from watching other people's YouTube videos out towards the estuary, out towards the sea. So we'll let you see that as we get a bit further up. There are multiple people on the trail today, so I'm not one for talking in front of camera when there's loads of folk about. So we'll dip in and out as we head up this hill. Right. Now there's that old saying on the West Highland Way to always remember to look back. I nearly didn't there, and I'm glad I did, because we've now got these views opening up away down to the village of Glencoe and beyond into the sea loch there. And I think with the advice we always give on the West Highland Way, don't forget to look back. Anytime you're in Scotland, stop, turn around, have a look at the views that are just over your shoulder. Quite surprised that there are few to no midges at the minute. Now I might be eating my words later on, I might have jinxed that, but yeah, the midges in Scotland seem to go in phases. You'll get periods where they're really bad and then they all die off, the eggs hatch, and then you get a second wave that generally is worse than the first. There's very little to no breeze at the minute, and I would expect there to be absolute clouds of midges everywhere, but no, we seem to be okay. Although, just had a massive dragonfly go flying past, so maybe there's tons of them gobbling them all up. But yeah, this should be a calm, straightforward walk up to the top of this hill. I've even done something a bit silly. Forgot my waterproofs, haven't I? But there's no rain forecast, so, and you know what? If it does rain, I'll get wet. So, yeah. Never mind, you always forget something, don't you? We're walking along the path and it seems to be a wee bit of a stream at the minute. I don't know whether it's going to get drier further up, I would expect so. But yeah, it's a wee bit damp just now, but nothing that's going to get your feet soaking. Although we are about to walk into chest-high ferns now. I think I've spoken about this before on videos. Ferns are the reason why I tend to do the West Highland Way in April. The whole side of Loch Leven gets covered in them, and these are where ticks live. they will jump all over you if you give them the chance. So I'm going to try and avoid and dodge my way around these humongous patches of ferns on the hillside here. I didn't bring my tick removal tool, nor do I want any more ticks. I've had more than my fair share over the last 5-6 years. I don't want any more. So at this point just up ahead, it certainly looks like it's going to get a little bit steeper until we get up onto the top of that rise, because the summit is just in the centre of view there. So we've got this little bit to get up, and then I'm hoping it might level out for a wee bit before we get the very steep climb up onto the summit of this one. Now, it does have another name which I'm going to learn before I get to the top, and I'm going to pronounce it to you in perfect Scots Gaelic. Most people know it as the Pap of Glencoe. Its Gaelic name is coming later in the video. If you want to find out what that is, hang on till the end. Right, still dodging ferns, trying to avoid the ticks. You'll be able to hear from my breathing. This section is steep, like really steep. And it's covered in a lot of new stone. I think this must have been done recently to kind of stop the paths getting eroded. But it doesn't make for easy walking on a steep terrain. Am I sweating? Yeah. Right, I think another 5 minutes and I'm going to have to stop and get something to drink. Otherwise, I'm going to end up looking like a raisin by the time I get up top here. Totally dehydrated. So the chap heading down behind me, I've just had a good chat with him. He's just come off the Aonach Eagach Ridge, which is on my list of ones to do. Fully helmeted up. He says it's taken him about 5.5 hours. I would have said conditions were perfect today, but I did notice when I arrived that the top of these mountains that I'm heading up at the minute were covered in cloud. That doesn't help you when you're trying to get across a narrow ridge like the Aonach Eagach. So well done to him. If you see the video, lovely chatting to you. And congratulations on finishing one of the UK's hardest ridge walks. Yeah, that's going to be on my list of ones to do, but it's not one to do on your own. So we'll maybe leave that for another year, probably next summer, and we'll get up. We'll get some practice on the scrambling, and we'll get up and get that done. So this is the way you would come down. He's got a very long walk to get back to the Three Sisters car park, which is where a lot of people start that. I personally, if I'm coming up with another person, I think what we'll do, we'll come around, we'll drop a car down to the car park for Pap of Glencoe, drive back along, leave the other car there. That way we don't have the extra long walk at the end. It's hard enough to do it without having, what would that be, probably a 4 or 5 mile walk back round, maybe even more. But yeah, very impressive. Right, I don't think I'm even halfway up here yet, but I'm enjoying the walk. I'm not rushing today, even although I did wake up after 9 o'clock today. I'm still on holiday, and yeah, I looked out the curtains and thought, I don't want to sit in the house today. I want to get up a mountain. So I jumped in the car and I've headed up. So that's another two I've just been speaking to who have just come off the ridge. Everyone must have left at 9 o'clock, and this is the finishing time if you've been along the top. It's one it's kind of scared me, I'll be honest. I think I've seen too many YouTube videos with the dramatic music over the top that has frightened me. Now, it's not to say that the ridge walk from down in Glencoe along the top there isn't to be respected. It certainly has, and people have lost their lives, sadly, going along the top of the Aonach Eagach. But yeah, the girl that was with that chap there was saying she was a big fearty and she managed to do it. So the pinnacles, just got to take your time on them and get yourself along. And they were up in the cloud a lot of the day, which is a shame, because I know the views off the top would be amazing. So yeah, I'm going to put it on my list to do next summer. Now I know I'm heading straight on, but there's a small cairn here with a path heading off to my right. Now, I'm not sure, but that quite possibly is the route down off the kind of western end of the Aonach Eagach. I'll take a mental note of that one. Yeah, we're starting to see people quite clearly up on the summit now, which is quite nice. Just had a message through from Scott Darrick, and Scott, if you're watching, hi, I'm doing it again. I'm almost up. Scott, you'll remember, if you've been watching my videos over the summer, was that legend that carried the washing machine, Wilma the washing machine, along the West Highland Way. And he's currently trying to figure out the next adventure that he's going to carry that washing machine on now that he's recovered. Yeah, good luck with that, Scott. I'm chatting with Scott regularly now. It's amazing how YouTube and long distance trails and walking can bring people together. He's over in Ireland, and yeah, we're the modern day equivalent of pen pals, aren't we, Scott? Yeah, we message every other day, and yeah, I'm getting to know him a bit better, and I think he's getting to know me a bit better. Yeah, so watch this space for Scott's next adventure. Will I be on it with him? I don't know. I don't know, but we certainly have got plans for next year, but I'm going to keep that a bit closer to my chest, and maybe tell you a wee bit about that at some point in 2026. That's a wee bit away yet. I passed another two people who were walking as a family, a group of four, who the mum and the son have decided to head back down. Too steep for them, and yeah, from the bottom I thought this looked like a pretty straightforward wee hill. Not like Demayet back in Stirling, but I thought it was going to be something similar, just maybe a bit higher up. But yeah, it's turning out to be a bit more of a challenging hill walk than I'd first anticipated. But not difficult. Say, I'm not in a rush, I'm taking my time. But it is steep, it is rocky. It's fine, it's a good day out in the mountains. So we've gotten to a relatively level wee section, but it is very bouldery. You can see how many different routes people have taken, which has meant they've had to cover this part of the hill and rocks and boulders to kind of stop the erosion from setting in. But yeah, you can see people scrambling up the right side of the final bit of the peak. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to put the camera away for that bit, or maybe I'll strap you onto my chest, do a bit of chest cam. Yeah, we'll see when we get up there. So not long now, it's, what are we at now? 531, what did I say this one was? 742, I think. So yeah, we've got about 200 metres to climb, but the last part of it is straight up. So that should be a wee bit exciting to finish off the video. I'm just hoping the clouds don't come over totally obscure the view. I want to give you some spectacular footage from the top of this one, because I say the views are magnificent, and if we can get the drone high enough, you'll be able to see right back along the whole length of the Aonach Eagach. So yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that the clouds play ball and give us a wee view from the top of this one. So at this point in the walk, you're starting to see the steep slopes that run off the back of the Aonach Eagach, and you can see how that just drops away for hundreds of metres. Yeah, that's a high old ridge up there. I mean, this one's, what, it's not small, it's 742, but yeah, those are another 400 metres higher, I would guess. I don't know what the height of the Munros is on the Aonach Eagach, but somebody in the comments will no doubt add it in. I can have a look at the OS maps when I get to the top. I do appreciate, I was just chatting to an American couple who said you're almost there, and I do appreciate that. There's nothing worse, is there, when somebody comes past and goes, oh, you're another hour and a half to the top. Well, you don't know how fast I walk. It might only be 40 minutes. But yeah, almost there. That's vague enough to not give you false hope. Yeah, we really aren't very far away. This is starting to, yeah, you've got to watch your feet coming up this bit. Now, I was speaking to another guy there. I speak to a lot of people, don't I? I think I've mentioned that a lot in the video so far. An American chap with the biggest telephoto lens on his camera looking for meadow pipits. I don't know if that's a particularly rare bird up here. I'm not a twitcher myself. But yeah, if you're coming up this mountain, keep your eyes peeled for very small meadow pipits. Don't say I don't give you any information on the Red Man Walking channel. Well, from the look of things, we've got a bit of boulder hopping to do to get up onto the summit of this one. And I understand why that lady and her son went back down. Yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time and effort to get across. Certainly safely. I'll see whether or not I've got the... Am I going to film it on the way up? Probably. Should have been better with two hands. Yeah, almost certainly. Right, last scrambly bit. This kind of stuff takes me back to Schiehallion. For anyone who's done it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just masses of boulders as you head up to the top of that Munro. This has got a wee short section. But yeah, care needs to be taken going across this. Taking my time, picking my way through it. So I've dropped down off the back of the mountain just to get out of the wind a wee bit. It is a bit breezy up here, and we do have fabulous views along the length of Loch Leven along to Kinlochleven at the far end. And of course you can see the West Highland Way snakes up and goes down through these mountains on the other side here, down towards Ben Nevis, which we can't see at the minute because it's got its head in the clouds. So this has been the Pap of Glencoe, also known as Aonach, which stands at 742 metres. Now, not to be underestimated, the top of this mountain, it gets really steep and requires a bit of hands-on scrambling to get up onto the top of it. I watched quite worryingly a young family who'd obviously come off in the wrong direction off the summit and were heading down a really steep bit, which I don't think was the path, with two very young children. They were picking their way down slowly but surely, and fingers crossed they've made it down to the bottom okay. The path seems to come off to the side and it curves round the back via Kinlochleven and comes up off the back, or at least that's what it looks like to me. So if you're heading back off of this one, I wouldn't necessarily head off the front face, come off the back and follow. There is a vague path on show at the back here. Anyway, so we finally tagged this one off. It's taken me a week and a day to get back up to do it, and it has been another fabulous day in the Scottish mountains. I've been G from Ren Man Walking, and all that remains for me to say is go and create your own adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.